Okay guys, today we're going to be working on the 85 F-150. This is a truck that I saved from the junkyard. It just got brought in to the builder section where you can buy a vehicle that still is complete and you can do whatever with. Some run and drive. This one actually run and drove. I towed it home anyways because I didn't trust it. But it's an 85. This is the first year for fuel injection, and we're coming up on 30 some years later, and it's not really working out. It also doesn't help. I put 460 fuel injectors in it, and it kind of alleviated my hot start problem, but it did not. It shifted on the other end, so now I have a hard time starting it when it's cold, but when it's warmer out it starts up fine. So I'm not really liking the EFI system. You can't tune it, you can't do anything with it. It's all set to 85 model year standards, and our fuel's changed a lot over the years, and I'm just not. I want to be able to tune the engine, and well, maybe later get some performance out of it. But we're just going to go ahead and ditch this EFI system. Just take it out. Maybe somebody else can use it. We're going to set it aside in our hoard and leave it for someone else if they want to use it. I just don't like dealing with it. I don't want to put any more money into the EFI system. And it's fairly straightforward to convert this to a carb setup. So that's what we're going to do. You wouldn't know it, but it's June. Alright, should I move this thing in even further? Okay, so what do we want to do first? Well, we might end up getting rid of this cold air, the factory air system, but I'm thinking if we just got some elbows. I think newer Bullnose trucks have a intake snorkel where there's like it's got these two pipes, but then there's basically a splitter. Or actually, no, it's the opposite. They have two, the dual throttle body thing here, which is weird. Come on, Ford. And then, so it has a 2, but then it has just goes to like a 2 or 3 inch, and then it runs over to the air box. That's how I think some of the Bullnoses are. Maybe we'll get those pieces and try and adapt that to a turbo hat, and then we can keep this air intake, because I got a K&N air filter in there, and it's the same for a Lincoln Town Car and probably some other vehicles as well. I got another one that I pulled out of a town car. I don't know, can you see the part number? How about that? Yeah. It's actually kind of low. I think this has a coolant leak somewhere, and I hope it's not this radiator. I know one of the bolt holes here, which we're going to end up taking care of, it's got a leak. Okay, let's see how far we can get that down in there. Yeah, looks like we're down in there pretty far. Alright. Start shucking. Alright. I like this thing. I don't know what it's got in it, but it kind of stinks. I'm going to have to clean it out soon. Yeah, I'm on a carburetor on this. Well, I thought I was having carburetor problems on my last V8, but actually it doesn't help when your timing's 180 degrees out. The throttle valve cable on this for the transmission is kind of, it makes this whole throttle like really just tough, and it kind of sucks. Because this is really easy right now. This is all lubed up and everything, and I cleaned it. But man, you gotta pull on this throttle cable, it's like, ugh. Get the boot out of here. This out. we're just gonna go ahead and start just taking stuff off. A lot of this we're not gonna need. Well, most of the intake stuff I want to try and keep, but yeah, just pretty much all of this we're gonna get rid of. I think most of this harness right here, we're gonna have to go through this harness and see what we don't need. Pretty much the only thing we need over here is, you know, the starter. You know, leave that. All these vacuum lines, don't need that crap no more. This evap stuff, we're gonna have that. We're gonna leave it in because we want the fuel vapors to be purged into the engine. We might loop that onto a I don't know where we want to loop it. We don't want to have it to be a, you know, we don't want a vacuum leak. She goes. Just let that piss out into the thing there. We're going to change the oil on this again. We'll wipe that all out. I can kind of see the can. It looks okay. This has an EGR port. We're not running EGR. So I'm trying to think of a couple different things that we can do with this so that it's not trying to push exhaust up against our, you know, carburetor here. So I thought we could, they probably make, I'm thinking they make a spacer, like an aluminum spacer you just put right over here, and it probably will, you know, just a solid piece and just 2 holes for your intake. That would probably solve our problem right there. But I'm worried about this burning the gasket, you know. We don't need that happening. Then I'm thinking, what if we made something that we would just press in here and then that would just block it off. So I'm trying to figure out what we want to do there. Maybe in the comment section you guys can chime in and see what's up, or we can just leave it as is. Oh, look at that. Easy peasy. Just comes right out. Of course, we can put, you know, different set in here. So we might use these. The only thing I need to get for this is a set of nuts. I did not have those. I grabbed it from the Junkyard. Can I don't want to, you know, mess up the threads, but I just want to grab it just enough where I can spin it. Like that. Barely even touch the threads. You know, it'll just provide a little bit of Loctite, you know. These Craftsman vice grips have been my favorite so far. They're just nice and sharp, and they just bite. Cool. Well, this is... Sadly, I think this is just going to be the easiest part. No. Now we can just spin this one like this. The other thing I'm thinking of doing is, for intake, trying to figure out how to reuse the EFI airbox setup, because I got a K&N air filter in it, and the cold air intake setup is still with it. They're still there, so I'd like to use that so this thing will get the coldest air it can get. Because otherwise, if we run an open element air filter, it's going to be sucking in all that engine heat, and I really don't want that. What do you think? Are we going to be able to get this? Do we want to try and clamp it? Can we clamp? Let's see. I got my big vice grips right here. I know some people are like, how come we're not doing a 4-barrel carburetor? Blah blah blah. Just gonna keep it simple. Do 2-barrel. Plus, just trying to keep this all like, you know, junkyard only kind of stuff. And I got the intake, but then finding the carburetor was a pain in the ass. You can't even find a 4-barrel carburetor there, so just do the 2-barrel. Back when I was building my 4BT Cummins truck, some people were claiming that they got really good fuel economy out of a 2-barrel 5-liter with like a 4-speed or a 5-speed. They got like 26 miles to the gallon or something. So I figured, let's try and mimic that setup and see if we can get the same. I'm not very hopeful. Oh, this thing is petrified. I'll have to get that off. So, let's see. Let's try and get that. Now, I'm not, you know, knocking on anybody or trying to be a big meanie, but I'm just saying. I wonder if we can, you know, lock it in here and put something else here to lock it in. Let me, let's see, let's try it this way. That might work. I'm gonna have to move you guys though. Okay, so we gotta be careful. We're in our slippers. And she's corroded in there pretty good. If I haven't, yeah, we'll get it. I might even just cut this off so we can get a socket on there and put a breaker bar on it. Let's put some heat on it. Oh yeah, this feels nice in there. We got some weight to this one now. Wow. Want to cut it? Let's just cut it. I love these things. tippy tap that mother trucker on there. We might actually snap that off. Oh! Ah! Yeah! We got it, tubes. Oh yeah. I'm really happy about that. That heat banging on it. And a nice long breaker bar. Woohoo! Smoking! There, now we can put our own little thing in there. I think this is a 5/8 pipe fitting. I think it's a 5/8. Or maybe it's a 1/2 inch. I can't remember exactly, but I know a lot of auto parts stores like Baxter's and AutoZone and stuff, they usually have a universal thing that usually fits in there. Oh yeah, we're starting to twist her in the socket there. Man. Get our bench all saturated. Ideally, what I'd like to do with this bench is, you know, I got a wood base here, but I think I'm gonna get some stainless steel, some like 1/4 inch stuff, and I'll go over top of this, and then I can actually turn it into a welding bench. But I'm gonna hold out on that because I got something I'm working on right now. I'm trying to, I really want to get out of this place. You know, I'm not gonna rent another place, so kind of looking at what my options are, and you know, I can afford a mortgage, but you know, you got the whole down payment thing, and if I just stopped spending money trying to make YouTube videos, I'd be in a house by now. Should I just light it? Yeah, there we go. Oh shit. Oh yeah, those rags are soaked. There, we got it all cleaned up. Most of the junk off there. I'm still debating, do I paint it or do I not? So here's what I got. Here's my aircraft cleaner. We need to kind of use that up. Aircraft cleaner. Paint stripper. More butane. Ooh, there's some black paint here. I got primer. And I got 2 cans of red. I think that's when we did my neighbor's Camry. Is this ooh, still works. Let's use it. Alright, tubes. I kind of did a bunch of stuff off camera. I was kind of in the groove. Well, I was also doing some live video stuff too, so just messing around with that. But I'll show you what I've got going on here. Looks like we have a ground wire that's kind of messed up. Oh, it's just a grounding cable. This is the complete EFI harness here. I did have to cut some stuff here. But this is, yeah, that's it right there. All the EFI crap. I got the temp sensor out. That's for the gauge. I took this fitting out. I'm gonna reuse it because why not, right? I don't have to buy another fitting. So we're gonna use that. Let me show you what it's looking like. I got it under the hood, or sitting on the engine, just to see how it fits. Fits just like it should, because it's an OEM manifold. And I got this cover over it here. Uh-oh. Let me get a light here. It's early in the morning. I've been sleeping as I was wiped out after I got done with this crap. I did notice I've got a couple of holes there I gotta plug up. So I'll have to get some. I think that pipe plug I got right there fits, but it's kind of tight in the thread, so I'm gonna get another one and maybe get a couple of new ones and put those in there. That's another good spot for maybe a temp sensor, but I'm not sure. I actually think that's... I don't think that's coolant. I think the one on the right is coolant, and I think the other one's actually a vacuum. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, I painted it red, and I asked a few of you to see if I should paint the valve covers, and I think we're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna paint them. Might go pick up some blue paint, and we'll do those blue. And yeah, that'll look pretty good. So what I'm, got that in there. It's all loose in there. I just kind of put it in by hand. So that EGR passage right there, you see that? We are going to, this is what I'm going to do. I am going to, I'm going to be ordering a spacer. I just measured the stud pattern on here, and this is 5 1/8 and then 3 1/2 for that pattern. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get an aluminum spacer, and I think what I'll do is the aluminum spacer is going to go right here, and I'm probably just going to seal it up here with some high temp silicone, and then the top part will just have a regular gasket, and then the carburetor will go on top of that. So that spacer will kind of emulate the EGR spacer that used to be there, but we'll have that EGR completely blocked off. And then after that, and we get our carburetor, of course I gotta get an intake gasket kit for this so we can get that mounted on there, because otherwise I'd have the bolts in. After the carburetor gets mounted, I'm gonna order a pressure regulator, and we'll get those fuel lines hooked up. We'll rig up a system where it only feeds the high pressure fuel pump is going to feed the carburetor only 4.5 to 5 psi, maybe 7. We'll play around with it, and then the rest of it's just going to get bypassed right back to the tank. That's how a couple of people I've seen on YouTube and on the forums, how they've done it. So that's what I'm going to do. We'll see how that works out for us. Yeah, and then let's see, what was the other thing? The tricky part is getting the throttle valve and the throttle stuff together. Probably what I might do is order a new cable for a carbureted V8. Those are pretty cheap. I'll get a new one, and then we'll probably make our own bracket and bolt it back there. I don't know if I have any bolts for that. I'll have to take a look, but yeah, this is kind of what we got going on right now. For this part of the video, I'm going to end it here. And then in the next video, hopefully we'll have our carburetor and other parts to get the intake and everything settled down, and then we'll work on getting all the ancillary stuff worked out. So anyways, I wanted to thank you guys for watching and tuning in. And yeah, hopefully we can get this thing running on a 2-barrel carburetor. I know there's a lot of people kind of mad that I'm not doing a 4-barrel, but I don't want to do a 4-barrel. I want to try and, like I said, I'm doing an experiment here. I probably will do the valve covers off camera. I got to look at what a few of you are saying for color, and I'll just pick one that I think I like, and then we'll go with that. But anyways, I gotta go. See you guys later.